Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, today we're going to make this little flip box, and it's a really neat little effect. You see this on a lot of sites at the moment, and to do this today we're using a brand new plugin called DiviFlash, and you will need to have this installed if you want to build this particular one today. It comes with 17 modules. We've done a few of them, and so far the ones that I've done have been absolutely fantastic. We're going to do the Flipbox one today. They've got a launch deal because it is absolutely brand new. I'll put this below the video, the link, in case anybody wants to check it out. So let's get building. I'm going to enable my visual builder, and I've got a section with a row with 2 columns. I'm going to put my flip box in this second column here. Divi comes as standard with all these blue icon modules here, and there's plenty of them just about to build just about any sort of site. The ones with the purple icons are the ones that you get with the new DiviFlash plugin, and there, like I said before, there's some fantastic ones here. We're going to use a flip box today. There it is right there. Okay, let's plot this over here so we can see what we're doing. Now when you first go in there, it gives you the opportunity to flip it front and back. By default it's going to be on the front side. We've not got any content there at the moment, so let's put some content in. Going to go down to the content tab, working on the front. And again, I haven't got any content. I'm just going to use a bit of Lorem Ipsum dummy content here. And as you can see, it started putting content in there, and when I hover over it, it flips it for us. Now you can add a button to the back side, which is always a good idea. Get a call to action going. Obviously put in whatever it is you want to put in here, and the link where you want to take your visitors right here. If you're linking to your own site, leave it in the same window. If you're linking off site to a different site, open it in a new tab so your site stays open. Now down below you can choose whether to add an image or an icon. I'm going to go ahead and use an icon. I'm going to have it flip up, so I am going to put the upward arrow in there, but obviously you put exactly what you want to put in there. Now I'll change my icon color in a minute when we've got a background, so let's keep on going down. I think I'm going to put my icon in the middle. I don't want to circle it or have a background. I'm just going to have it a straight color when we get in there. In the animation tab below you can choose different animations. I'll wait till we've built the card and demonstrate those. You'll be able to see them a little bit easier there. In the settings you can set a custom height. If you've got a different amount of content for the back and the front and you want them to be the same height, just put in your custom height here to make sure both sides are the same. Okay, and down below we've got a background for the front and a background for the back. So let's put a background in the front. You've got color, gradient, or image. I'm going to use an image this time. Just to mix it up, let's use a slightly different image than we used last time. I guess I'll use that one. Let's use this one actually, it's colourful. Okay, so we've got our image in there. And as you can see, that's pretty large because it's taken on the size of the image there. So let's go into our settings. Let's make it say 400 pixels. It's a bit better. We could probably do with 350 or even 300. There we go. That's a nice sort of size. And I'd probably make my one next door the same size. Let's see if we can't make it the same size as this one next door. So let's say perhaps 380. I didn't put a fixed size on that one, so it's 350. And you can fine tune with your little arrows right there. That'll do fine. Let's round it up to 60. Okay, so we've got a bit of content in there. We've got our first side done. And for the back side, I'm going to put in a gradient. And I'll use that blue, and I'll put purple at the bottom. That's fine. I'll leave it as a linear gradient. You can change it to radial if you want, which will give a color emanating from the middle outwards, but I'm going to leave mine just as it is there. Okay, if you want the whole module to link something, you can put a link in here, and it's exactly the same thing. If you're linking to your own site, leave it in the same window. Otherwise, open it in a new tab. Okay, and the background down here is for the background behind the module. I'm not going to put anything in there because I don't see the point for a flip box, but that's entirely up to you. Okay, let's go to our design now. Now, content vertical line, this is great because at the moment you can see our sort of content, or you can barely see it at the moment. Let's make it so we can see it before we do this. Let's go into our title. We're on the front side here. I'm going to make it capital. I'm going to put it in the middle. I'm going to make it white. There we go, that's easier to see. And let's make it a little bit larger. Great. Rolling down, I'll do similar for the content. I'm going to put it in the middle. I'm going to make it white in color. There we go, we can see that a lot better. Now going back to the top, for the vertical align now, I can align it so that stays in the middle vertically of our little box there. So let's center it. There we go. You can put it on the bottom if you prefer. That's great. That works fine. Now we're not using images, so I don't need to do anything to the image. Title, content we've taken care of. Button, that's on the back end there. That's all we've got on the back so far, and it's up there. We'll come back to that button in a minute when we do the back side. Don't want a border. Custom spacing though, this is great. I do want some custom spacing, certainly left and right. I don't need any top and bottom because the alignment's taking care of that. So on the wrapper, we're on the front here. I'm going to give it 50 pixels left and right. There we go, that's just giving it a bit of breathing space there. And if we go to the front box now, I like to put a little bit of space below that icon there. So here's our icon margin, icon padding. So I'm going to give it 30 pixels below the icon to give it a bit of breathing space. Fantastic, great. Okay, well that's our front taken care of. Let's do something to the back now. So again, we can go to our content. Here's our content. You've got front and back there. I'm going to steal the same content for the back as I used in the front. I'm going to plop that in there. Now I'll just give it a slightly different title. If we flip now, we've actually got content here as well. And if we go back to our design, vertical align again, we can do the same for our back content as we did from the front. I'll put it in the center. And here's our back content. I'm going to put it in the center. I'm going to make it white. Let's see what's going on here. It's okay. Now what we can do, we can go to the content and we can change the builder view, and if we do that, it'll be on the back so we can see exactly what we're doing. So we'll go to our title, and for the back title I want to make again that capital, put it in the middle, make it white so we can see it, perhaps bring it up in size a little bit. And now we can style our button because we can see it. So down below content, we're still on the design tab. We've got our button here. Let's give it a background color. Let's make it blue. Let's have a different color on hover. I'm hitting the little arrow, and this is common to most Divi modules. If you hover over the dark legending there, you'll find a little arrow. If there is one, it'll give you the state for a desktop when your mouse is not on it. And when your mouse is on the button, we can give it a different background color there. Fantastic. Now the button font itself, I'm going to make that white. I want my button to be in the middle. So here's the alignment up the top there. And in a moment I'm going to add a bit more padding on the top and left and right. So we'll push the button down and we'll bring that text in a little bit more. So if we keep going down, Here's our custom spacing again. We're on the back. Here's our button. Here's our button margin. So I'm going to give it 20 pixels on the top. There we go. That's pushed it down a bit. And we really want to give that wrapper on the back side. Let's go to the wrapper. Back wrapper padding. I'm going to give it the same as we got on the front. Just 50 left and right there. Really, they really have gone to town with the spacing options here. Save you writing any code. That works really well. That's great. Okay, well, we've pretty much got both sides done. Let's go back to our content. I'll turn the build a view button back to how it is normally. There's our little flip. Now if we go down to animation, you've got various different animation settings. At the moment the default's on rotate, and we're rotating left, as you can see, which is fine. They've got a little floating effect. I've seen this on others that gives it kind of 3D. If I put this on, you won't see much initially, but when it flips you'll see that that text is slightly off, slightly on top, which gives it a little 3D effect. If you move the translation Z up or type in a new value here, we could even go crazy with it. It'll accentuate that. And you've got a sort of 3D effect there. That's fine. I'm happy with the way mine was looking without that. That's great. So what other animations we've got? Well, we've got a zoom. As you can see, they zoom one to the other, and you can zoom from the left or the right or up and down for different effects. They've got slide, which again is another great one. Default is slide left. I quite like the one I'm going to stick with today. I think is slide up. I quite like that one. And they've also got fade. And you can have a transition duration. At the moment it's 600 milliseconds, just over half a second. And it fades from one to the other. But personally I quite like the slide up. So I'm going to leave mine just like that. Now back to the design, you've actually got a box shadow effect for the front and the back. But I really don't. Here's the front side and back side, so you can have different on each. For me, I'm just going to leave it like that today. So let's save our changes. We'll save our page changes. So there's our little flip box, and when we hover over it, the second panel slides up over the top, and we've got a nice little call to action button there. Fantastic, really easy to do, and a nice little effect to have on your site. So I hope you've enjoyed that today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.